This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
Welcome to Talk Africa with me, John Sewa. Talk Africa is a program that brings you closer to home by discussing all issues pertaining to Africa. Our topic of the day today, we're looking at the issue of bleaching within African communities. We're asking, is it self-love or self-hate? Or is there an advantage of having a lighter skin? A recent study in the University of Cape Town, suggests that 1 in 3 women in South Africa bleaches her skin. There's also an increase in men bleaching their skin. The issue of skin bleaching within Africa, that's what we'll be discussing on our for our main topic of the day later on within the show. We will then look at stories making the headlines across the continent, but as always, we begin with looking at stories making the headlines here in the UK. And my guest today, we have Kofi Ali, ECOWAS Citizens' Rights Advocate, and also Ludwig Nee Jr., who is the CEO of Ashmore International and also GEPS UK. Glad to have the both of you with us in the studio this morning.
Thank you for having us. Thank you, Jones.
Kofi, we can't hear you. You need to come a bit closer to your
Thank
microphone.
you, Jones. Thank you for having us this morning.
Fantastic. Now I can hear you loud and clear. We are streaming live on our Facebook page. Go onto our Facebook page, Talk Africa, also GNTV UK. You can watch the live stream from there. We're also live on Sky Channel 291. Go on there. You can watch us. If you want to contribute, you can as well. I'll give the numbers out very, very soon. If you want to text, it's 0793286138. If you want to call into the studio, it's 0203-286-0185. Once again, good morning to all our listeners. Let's not forget today is Friday. I think it's 24 days to Christmas. I woke up with a bit of a spring in my step this morning, so I'm waiting, patiently waiting. Okay, let's crack on, guys. Ryan Giggs, I think Ludwig.
I've got
I'll come
that,
to you. Yes, Ryan Giggs. Ryan Giggs in the deal over his divorce, £48 million.
No, I think it's over Giggs in divorce deal in deal over his £48 million divorce. So his wealth is £48 million
pounds. Okay.
And I think the issue goes that obviously in 2007 he broke up with his wife because his wife was he was having an affair with his brother's wife.
Ryan Giggs was having an affair with his brother's wife. Yes.
Interesting at the bottom of the story, they talk about the fact that they are still good friends. You know, him and his ex-wife. So they've got 2 children together, and since then. Giggs 44 had been fighting Stacey in London High Court over giving her a chunk of his 48 million fortune. So it is more about how much he gives her. And they've been going back and forth. It's almost like, 9-10 years now. And they've come to a situation where he has agreed to make a special contribution to the... He argued that he had made special contribution to the creation of the wealth during... So He's saying that he made more contributions than she did. They've gone back and forth, and yesterday lawyers said they had come to a confidential agreement and remained firm friends. So just to kind of reiterate the story, the former Wales ace, who had 2 children with Stacey, 39, had an 8-year affair with his brother's wife, Natasha Lever. Very interesting. But now she's getting a chunk of the 48 million. But we don't know how much.
But the most important thing is they're still friends. We can see how
how
divorce sometimes can turn out to be.
Yeah, it's very interesting that because the circumstances, you wouldn't think they would be friends.
Yeah.
Given the circumstances. But I guess for her, it's easier for her to be friends with him than from the brother. So we want to know, is he still friends with his brother? That's what we want to know.
Are they still brothers?
Yeah, are they still brothers? Yeah, well, clearly they were not for 8 years. So have they made up?
And is the brother also still with his wife? Or have they also parted?
That would be
Nobody
interesting.
asked that question.
Yeah, I guess there's no money involved in that situation, is there? So.
Okay, Kofi, let's come to you. Donald Trump mocked Theresa May, Prime Minister. Theresa May has criticized Donald Trump for retweeting a tweet from the far right group here in the UK, and Mrs. May took on to the, well, she was going to be quizzed about it, and she said it was wrong, so she's criticizing. Donald Trump has hit back, telling her focus on radical Islam terrorism taking place in the UK.
Well, you can see it's a kind of, to me, a kind of face-saving effort. Yeah, you know, from Mr. Trump
Speaking
himself.
to the microphone for me, please.
When you look at what is happening, it looks like the retweeting is backfiring, and it's
Yeah.
bringing a sore relationship. Like you rightly said, Theresa May will be asked about this and what position is she taking, and she has to come from the hard side, because she doesn't have to come from the soft side. Looking at the challenges of this same issue, Britain, either we should be talking about Britain first in the United Kingdom or all inclusive. Of course, everyone knows there are challenges around certain areas. Some are saying it has to do with the wars from outside that is making certain faction of, we'll put it, religious or group, and, you know, to be under the radar. And they are a bit uncomfortable, and that is dividing even the internal society. So as far as Britain is concerned, they need the whole family to work together to address this issue. In the case of America, we all know how President Trump won his election. America first. He won on that basis. And America first turned out to be actually against, we will say, immigrants, because he dealt with those from South America as well. But the Islamic world seems to be hit more, and he seems to be focusing there more. And, well, we can all see where they come from. But what is interesting about this news is that it's not only stopping there. It's a big issue in the United Kingdom here, as Donald Trump turned around to tell Theresa May to mind her business. Technically, that's what he's saying. But this is a man who is supposed to be in the UK come January for a state visit. And the British people don't take their visitors lightly. You must really work and earn it to be able to be part of their. So there is a divided house on, and this is not the first time. In fact, this is the second time people have used this visit issue to decide whether Donald Trump will come or not. And John Bacchus, the Speaker of Parliament, seems to be very, very, he doesn't joke when issues like this come up. He has come up to say his mind. We don't know. January is here. Theresa May is saying that they've not fixed a date. But as far as we are concerned, we don't know whether Trump will come or
Let me
not.
get Ludwig's
I
take
think
on it.
it's very interesting. I mean, first and foremost, he tweets the wrong person.
Yeah.
He tweets the wrong messages. And I think with Donald Trump, you kind of get he's not conventional. He's kind of
He's not-
unorthodox.
yeah. Politician.
He's not a politician.
Even-
He's just
yeah.
a businessman.
He's a
who's in
politician. That's a politician.
He's not.
no
He's
version
not.
of politics.
He's not a politician. He's a guy that's who won. You know, he was given a mandate, and he's in there and he's doing politics in a business way. But he's not a politician. Per
All right,
se.
let's move on quickly, just for time's sake.
Um,
There's
um,
another story of well, is the UK have found out that certain asylum claims from people from Pakistan. There seems to be a trend.
So what they're saying is that 1 in 5 asylum applications from Pakistan citizens raise sexual orientation issues, according to official figures published for the first time yesterday. Pakistan is top the list of nationalities who have obtained who have lesbian, gay, or bisexual issues as part of their asylum claims. I mean, it goes on to say that following them, we have Bangladesh and Nigeria. They looked at 3,500 applications, which is like 6% of the 58,700 applicants they get between July 2015 and
Your audio
March.
levels are very low.
And March this year, and they said out of that, sexual orientation was an issue in 1,000 of them. Out of that, 840 were given asylum. Another 514 had to make an appeal and they were given asylum. And there's a company called Kaleidoscope Trust who are supporting LGBT, and they're saying, look, these figures are coming out, and it's because of they've been lobbying and pushing for that. But in the same vein, they don't know more figures. They need to know who are being detained, why are people from LGBT communities not being given asylum, why are they not being given rights, because in certain cases it's a matter of life and death kind of thing. So, but I guess what's also really popping up is that, look, there is a trend that people are now identifying that if you have sexual orientation issues, it may assist in your application. So that's the other side that is a bit of a concern that they're not really saying because it's not PC, so they're trying to kind of be very broad and diplomatic about it. But what they're also trying to say is that they've noticed a trend that people are identifying and using LGBT as an excuse to get an asylum. So that's where we are on that one.
Should I?
Yeah, you can chip in.
You see, we
Avi.
have to understand that the purpose of asylum is for those who are endangered and being persecuted. And we need to know where these people are coming from. Take Nigeria, for example. They are very, very intolerant of this gay and lesbian, same sex. And you have places like Pakistan, predominantly Islamic society. So from places like this, that's why you see the Prime Minister here and other leaders going to these communities and countries and telling them that, look, be a bit soft on this issue, because it's only when you do that, then people cannot come to say, I'm running from Nigeria or from Pakistan to a place like this because I fear for my life. There are evidence that these people have been persecuted. So let us look at it from
Are they doing it from the prosecution point of view, or are they doing
They
it
say
from
they're
the,
escaping.
from the point of view they don't want people to come here? So which
Hey, there's so
No,
be
they say they are being
let's be
persecuted,
realistic
and
here.
it's true where they are coming from. Don't let us play. If someone says it's a gay. So you should be able to. We should stop doubting people. That's the way I'm looking at it. Let us go to the root cause of the problem
But Kofi,
and
can I
address
say
it.
something? If you're in an office and people are trying to apply for something, and you tend to see, okay, this person from this ethnic background, and there's consistency in what they try in their storytelling, surely it will raise some sort of alarm in your head. Is this true? Is this something that people are trying to use to attain something?
First and foremost, if someone come from northern Nigeria and he say Boko Haram are after him to kill him, why not? You would believe him, because the evidence is there that there where he's coming from, there's something like that there. So if we don't want people to do that, then let us go to the root cause and deal with it. As far as Pakistan is concerned, it's predominantly Islamic society. But I'll be honest with you, we've seen videos, there's a huge population, India, Pakistan, and all those areas with a lot of gay and then
All right,
population
quickly,
there.
just one more topic before we run up on the stories making the headlines here. Migrants for as a result to Brexit.
Oh, yes, it's a very interesting story here. We have Brexit of jobless EU nationals have sparked the biggest drop in net migration for 50 years. And what we are looking at here has to do with migrants from the EU. Normally, there is a trend because in the EU community, there's free visa, so they travel free. But there is also a case of, farming, low labor related jobs, and then people come from EU to come and fill these vacancies. Now that Britain has left the EU, these people have to be regulated on how they travel and so on and so forth.
All right,
it's
Kofi.
becoming a challenge. I think
Okay.
the number is dropping.
We will come back to that story. We're taking a quick break. This is Talk Africa, where we'll come back. We'll continue with our discussion. We'll be right back.
You might ask an artist to explain his art, or ask a poet to explain his poem, but it defeats the purpose. The meaning is only clear through the search. Painting is the silence of thought, the music of sight. Painting is just another way of keeping a diary. If we could say it in words, there'll be no reason to paint. I love social media. I am social media. So I've decided I'm going to hijack your screens for the next 60 minutes as we surf through your Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and all of it. The key is to listen, engage, and build relationships. Social media is not just any media. It means fun and connecting to your favorite personalities online from any part of the globe. And when I say fun, I mean real fun. FNN Social,
redefined. Wondering what's going on in the life of your favorite entertainment personality? Wonder no more, because the Daily Setbit has got you covered with the latest in entertainment news, gossip, facts, rumors, and of course, some sizzling interviews.
Not just that, did you know actor Jimmy Foxx's real name is Eric Malone Bishop? I bet you didn't know. On the Did You Know segment, we bring you some mind-boggling facts you might not know about your favorite celebrity.
We don't only set the trend with our stories, we bring you trending videos and images that have gone viral on social media. Your entertainment just got better.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
Hello and welcome back to Talk Africa with me, John Sewa. Today in the studio we have Ludwig Nee Jr., who's the CEO of Ashmore International, and also I tried not to get this wrong, GEPS UK. Also Kofi Ali, who's an ECOWAS Citizens' Rights Advocate here in the studio. We are streaming live on GNTV UK, also on Talk Africa. Go onto our Facebook page and watch the live stream and leave a comment, okay? We're also on Sky, in case you're just relaxing in your bed this Friday morning. We're live on Sky channel 291. You can also watch us on there. If you want to call into the studio, it's 0203 286 0185. 0203 286 0185. We've got comments on Facebook. We've got Henrietta saying she's watching all the way from Ghana. Good morning to you, Henrietta. Hope you're good. Yeah, you had a good flight back to Ghana. Good morning to you. Okay, now later on in the show, our topic of the day, we're discussing the issue of skin bleaching, skin lightening when it comes to the African setting. I'm sure you must know somebody who has probably he or she bleached their skin. What's the reason behind it? We will tackle this issue today later on in the program. But now we're going to move on to our next topic of the day, which is we're looking at stories making the headlines across the continent. And Kofi, we start with former, or should I say, Ivorian footballer Didier Drogba playing a huge part, a big role in the AU-EU summit that's going on right now in Abidjan.
Well, I think the key thing should not be Drogba. It should be about the summit itself and the concerns the summit was about to address, which is the AU-EU summit in Abidjan. Which
we still cannot hear you. I need you to come closer to your microphone. Or move your microphone a bit closer to you so we can hear you.
Yeah, that should be better.
Yeah.
So it's at the summit, there are other side issues, which is the theme of the summit itself is youth empowerment across the continent, and a lot of youth came together to try to make their case, and we were able to link this issue. You need someone like Drogba, because he's a footballer, very popular. You need people like this to be able to make impact. The only sad thing is that it seems everything was focused on him, which was not fair. Fair in the sense that the people in Libya, the issue that the summit, one of the things that came up apart from the theme of the summit is the Libyan issue.
Yeah.
Well, we are looking at this issue, this AU-EU summit. We've got Indo-China summit. We've got African Union China summit. So we have summits with all and sundry. But in this particular summit, yes, the Libyan case came up. And the person that's, apart from Drogba, another person that kind of stole the whole show is President Macron. Is it Macron? Macron of France. The question is the summit between France and African Union, or the summit is between African Union and European Union? If it's about European Union, then we expect the EU Commission, someone like Jean-Claude Juncker, to be leading. People are asking whether Macron is now the foreign minister of the European Union. And this is bringing issues. And we understand that indeed France have got a lot of colonies in West Africa. Mm-hmm. And probably he's throwing his weight around on these issues. But I don't think that will have been the best. We are supposed to be relating with EU, not France, on this platform, because EU summit. Now, the EU have got their own concern. But when you come back to the issue on the ground, how do we move people out of Libya? We also have to understand that we share border the continent of Africa share border directly with Europe. So you can see why we need to work together in certain areas. And these particular people who are migrating, they are actually going to Europe, and they got stuck in, what do you call it? Libya. And the challenge we are having is that because of the effort the Europeans are making to stop migrants from flowing, because most of the European leaders are losing election, like you have in Germany and so on, not because of anything but the migration that are flooding from the continent. So they are trying to block their side. They are blocking the Mediterranean. And if access is not allowed, then people get stranded in Libya. There's war going on there. People are stranded. People are being abused. And so this is a challenge. And the fact that the Europeans have got the facilities on the ground, it's good we work with them so that we can move people out of Libya. And for the information or good news is that Nigeria, Ghana, even Gambia and Senegal have started receiving people that are being flown back to their respective country. And I think it's a huge success. It's a good news. The summit to me is at least productive. The youth, the very youth on whom the summit is being made, are moved home. It's a good news.
I just think that it's also a PR for the Europeans to say, look, don't come over here because you have to go.
Please speak up, Ludo.
You have to go through Libya, and if you have to go through Libya, this is the kind of thing that's going to happen to you, because, like you just said, the Europeans are battling migrants, and they have gone as far as speaking to militias and saying, look, don't let people in. I think we spoke about this during the week, and so it's a common, for many people they don't know, but it's common knowledge that Europeans are working with Libya, even when Gaddafi was here, to stop people from coming here. So this whole slave trade thing is good PR for the Europeans, because they're saying, look, if you're trying to come to our country, this was going to happen to you. They wouldn't, of course, say it in public because it's not good for them to say that.
We can't say Europeans are behind the slave trade.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying for Europe, it is good for them, because if you're coming to Europe, you have to go through Libya, and the fact that you might be caught and used as a slave is a deterrent for Europeans who are happy, but they're not going to say that in public. So we have to be very clear about that. They don't want you to come to their country, and if you have to go through a buffer country that's going to make you a slave, that's going to stop you from coming, that's not a bad thing for them.
So in a way, you're trying to say what's happening will serve as a deterrent to migrants trying to go through Libya to get into Europe.
Yeah. So from the European aspects of it, they are not actually unhappy. They will say in public they're unhappy, but these are the same people that are meeting with militias and saying, look, tell these people, don't let them come here. And they know what these militias are like. So it's not we shouldn't be surprised at what's going on behind the scenes. Yes, they'll come and give you a plane to fly back home because it means you don't come to their country. That's resources that they save. So people need to look at stuff from both sides.
Kofi, yesterday we touched upon this. Nigerian President Buhari said he would do anything within his power to make sure that Nigerian migrants in Libya will come home, and also will stop trying to make it across Libya to get into Europe. And people were asking, if you say you are going to do that, what are these people that are coming back, what are they coming back to
do? Thank you very much. And this is the problem we have at these summits when we go to them. I don't know how articulate we are in making our position clear on what we want. What we are working hard on, the biggest problem we have in ECOWAS, African Union, SADC and so on, is youth employment.
But then when there is ECOWAS summit or African Union, especially because I've been to a few of them here in the UK, it's always aimed at youth. It's always aimed at youth, but then sometimes it's more like we don't really see it coming through to how the youth will benefit from what they're trying to do.
Yes, because it's all about, we don't mean what we say. We only back, we don't bite. So what we are doing is that, you see, that's why that's why Drogba's efforts and other people, in as much as some of us may be asking certain questions, the issue is that we are not involved. The people on the continent are not involved on how decisions are made at the regional and the continental level. Because if the people are involved, the people's problem is jobs. Then how do we marry the will of the people like they are doing in the EU with the decision making at the top there?
I saw a clip, it was from the Edo State, and the guy was speaking, and he said they went to Italy and they spoke. This is the Nigerian Edo State, it's in Nigeria. They went to Italy and they spoke to some of the ministers. And one of the things that they said is that, look, if you have an issue of migration with our people coming here, we need to look at what you are providing. He said, look, when you go into the streets of Italy and you're looking for prostitution, it's not black people who are coming to African women. It's white people.
Yeah.
So if you police your prosecution, because what he said is that prosecution is now legal, okay? And because it's legal, you earn taxes from them. So it's in your interest to allow prostitution to go on.
Or to legalize prostitution.
No, they've done in Italy.
Okay.
So what the minister from Edo State in Nigeria said was that if you've got an industry that makes you money, then it's in your interest to allow the industry to go on. However, the people who are migrants who are being sold into sex slaves are also making money. So you've created a demand. So therefore, people will ship people over. He also said there are issues around organ manufacturing or taking away organs. And he said, look, African doctors are not taking out people's organs in Europe. It's European doctors that are doing that. So you have an industry here that's demanding for certain things. And if you want to stop migration, you need to stop this activities happening in your Italian country so that it doesn't provide a demand for people to supply and demand. So just like what you were saying, Kofi, they do say stuff. They do request things. They are strong. However, they are not empowered to impose them. I can only ask you to do something. You don't have to do it.
You see, my own concern is that it is time we start taking responsibility and stop looking at the Europeans as if they are the solution to our problem. We do too much of these things. You have citizens in your country. If the Europeans are not treating their citizens and building enabling environment for them to prosper and flourish within their country, they also go to somewhere like we are coming. If we don't want our people to go to where they will be used, their organs will be used for plant, organ planting. Yeah. If we don't want our citizens to be prostitutes on the street of other countries, if you don't want our children to be sold as slaves in other countries, what are we? What kind of environment are we?
I don't think you can say that.
Be patient with me. Americans are human beings too. When do you hear them desperately traveling to other countries?
You can't say we as a country, as a continent, have to put barriers to where people are. People have got free will. Yeah. People will go wherever they want to go. People are going. We are here for whatever reasons.
You can't stop migration.
Yeah, you can't stop migration.
I don't think you got me right.
Yeah, but you're saying what are we putting in place? We cannot put anything.
I think what Kofi is trying to say is what government is putting in place to stop people from going.
But that's regardless of what governments have in place. People in the European Union travel to Africa, they go to Brazil, they go wherever they want, regardless of what you have here.
They go there empowered.
Yeah?
They go there empowered.
No, they go there legally because some of our systems are not great, and it's not empowered. People are free to go wherever they go.
I think we are getting something wrong here.
No. What I'm here, you're saying that we don't have jobs, and that's
people
why
people don't have jobs. They are desperate. People are going. People are dying. They are going.
Kofi, do we have a job center here in England?
Yes.
Don't people? Isn't it full of people not having jobs?
The job centers are providing jobs. People are going there.
But there are people who are not signed up for ages. Okay, so let's not make it look like we live in a place where only Africa hasn't got. There are billionaires in Africa. There are millionaires in Africa.
Let's calm down. Let's calm down a little bit.
Our situation may not be the greatest, but let's not paint it as so bleak.
So we have to blame someone.
No, we're not blaming anybody.
No, we are blaming because
listen to me, please. When we're talking, I don't like this when we try to compare Africa and Europe because it's two different separate situations. So let's talk within the African settings. We know how difficult, how hard it is. Even here in this country, although there's job centers, people are still without jobs. However, the system works as in some people
get benefits, they get this, they get that.
But not everyone's happy with that, Kofi. Not everybody's happy with benefits.
I think what Kofi is trying to say, and I stand to be corrected, Kofi is trying to say, if there's some sort of measures put in place, he doesn't think that we'll see the amount of people trying to get to Europe
at all costs.
At all costs, yeah. I think that's what Kofi's trying to say.
Possibly. However, what I'm trying to say is that we shouldn't always try to look at it as what are we doing. It's not a case that we have all the resources and people believe we've got everything and everything can happen overnight. It doesn't work like that.
But then, Ludwig, what about what Kofi is saying? How come every time us Africans tend to blame the Europeans?
I don't think no. In this instance, I don't think we're blaming the Europeans. The Europeans are saying that this is what we are doing. What are you doing? I've not heard anyone blaming anybody. What the guy said is that you have an industry that's supply and demand. So if you have an issue with that, then you need to shut down your demand to reduce that. He's not blaming them.
Okay, back with you. Also, what about the narrative that since Gaddafi was removed by the Europeans, that's what's caused this atrocities happening right now in Libya?
To be honest with you, I won't say because Gaddafi was removed. If I'm a Libyan, I'm sorry to say, I think I will do some of the things they do, and the reason is simple. People are...
Rephrase that for me.
No. I'll do exactly what they are doing, and I'll give you a reason. Be patient with me, and you understand me. When you go to Libya, it's a desert. It's a serious desert. No water, very difficult to get water. Then people are living, be patient, people are living rainforest, a land of abundance, and they're coming to where there is poverty.
Listen.
What are you coming to do there?
They're not coming there.
Hold on.
What are they doing there?
Libya, don't say Libya is a place of where there's a lot of poverty.
No.
Before Gaddafi was overthrown, Libya probably was the best place to live in.
Yes.
Okay,
Again.
so don't say that Libya is a place of poverty.
And this is all the propaganda we have on television.
Be patient with me. You see, again, this is a blame thing. What were we doing? The African Union was there when Gaddafi was being removed.
Yeah.
So we whatever we did, we didn't do the right thing, and it happened.
ECOWAS was there when Ouattara Gbagbo was being removed.
Gbagbo was removed, and this is what we are. When we say African Union, be patient. When we say African Union, we are talking about the continental responsibility. So when you are talking about ECOWAS, you talk about West African responsibility.
Yes.
And what we are saying here is that, yes, something has happened in Libya, right?
Something big has happened there.
Gaddafi has been removed. Lawlessness has just got out of
But when
hand.
he was there, it was fine. There was no issues.
Well, whatever we did,
never saw
whatever
this.
we did,
Gaddafi
we
will
need
never
to
allow
understand
this.
what we are also doing to contribute to this thing.
Just listen, we don't have time, but I want you to carry on what you were saying before I interjected. If you were Libyan, you would do the same thing.
If I were Libyan and on my land, in this country, you see sometimes it's happened. When they sit down, they feel they don't have council house, they don't have these things, and people come from... And in our case, it's even odd. We live on the best part of African land, in West Africa and Sub-Saharan African. And then we leave that place with all the wealth. And we listen, because of our mismanagement, and then we end up in a desert, people who don't even have water. Do you know how they struggle there? Have you been to Libya or Mali or...
Listen,
But I think you don't, but they're not going to Libya. They're going through Libya to
They
Europe.
are going through Libya.
Yeah, to
now,
Europe.
Now,
They're not going to
the
Libya.
very Europe we are going to are saying, they are telling us that
right.
they don't want us to
Kofi,
come. So where we are,
But I'm sure our
will
parents.
come
I'm
back.
sure when our parents came here, they didn't want us to be
we
here, but
will
we're
come
here.
back to
So
this, Kofi.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
I love social media. I mean, I am social media. So I've decided I'm going to hijack your screens for the next 60 minutes as we surf through your Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and all of it. The key is to listen, engage, and build relationships. Social media is not just any media. It means fun and connecting to your favorite personalities online from any part of the globe. And when I say fun, I mean real fun. FNN Social.
Beloved, God created man with the dust of the earth. God breathed the breath of life into mankind. So man became a living soul. It is therefore empirical to know and to understand that the earthly cannot survive without the heavenly. Faith today is designed to bring men and women of God from across the world to discuss developmental issues and current affairs backed by the scriptures and the gospels. This will enable us to have a better Ghana and a better world to live in. My name is Apostle Owahin Omaria Champon. I'm going to be your regular host. Remember, the light of God will shine. Don't miss it.
E-News Redefined. Wondering what's going on in the life of your favorite entertainment personality? Wonder no more, because the Daily Sepit has got you covered with the latest in entertainment news, gossip, fact, rumors, and of course, some sizzling interviews.
Not just that, did you know actor Jimmy Fox's real name is Eric Malon Bishop? I bet you didn't know. On the Did You Know segment, we bring you some mind-boggling facts you might not know about your favorite celebrity.
We don't only set the trend with our stories, we bring you trending videos and images that have gone viral on social media. Your entertainment just got better.
Majority of you only pay attention to us after years of unremittent persistence and rejections, whilst we challenge the way it has always been done. We have made courageous decisions many of you wouldn't dare dream, forgetting you can live it when you dream it. Wake up with an idea. Research the egg out of the idea. Write a massive business plan. Raise money and create business. Wave goodbye to friends and families as your life is now your business. Stick with it, even on the bad days. Following your massive expansion into a worldwide domination, retire to your favorite highland or go back to step one and wash, rinse and repeat.
The CEO's Chair, showing on GNTV UK.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
Welcome back to Talk Africa with me, Jones Ewa. Talk Africa is the program that brings you closer to home by discussing all issues pertaining to Africa. Today in the studio, we have Kofi Ali, ECOWAS Citizens' Rights Advocate, also Ludwig Nee Jr., who is CEO of Ashmore International, also GEPS UK. If you want to send your thoughts and comments in, you can go onto our Facebook. We're streaming live on GNTV UK, also on Talk Africa, our Facebook page. You can leave your comments on there. If you want to call into the studio, it's 0203 286 0185. If you want to send a text message, it's 0793 286 1328. Let's take a few messages from Facebook. And this is from Joyce. Joyce is saying, yes, Europeans are behind that. They are funding Libyans to keep Africans to come to Europe. Yesterday, Mr. Macron, president of France, explicitly said that the slavery is African on African slavery. He knows that France is also behind it. I disagree with Mr. Kofi Ali on this. Thanks. Joyce says that, is Mr. Ali telling us that the AU could stop the West going to evade Libya? That's what Joyce is asking. This morning, keep your thoughts and comments coming in. Now, Kofi, before we went on the break, you said something. I just want us to really talk about this Libyan issue because it is topical, and that's why we're here, Talk Africa. You said if you were Libyan, you probably do the same thing that they are doing, simply because they're probably sitting there thinking that migrants are coming over. That's what you're trying to say. Their country. But
is in crisis.
Let's
and
not
in
forget,
the course of crisis, you have people flooding
these are militants
from outside
that are causing this. So not the ordinary citizen, not the ordinary Libyan citizen. Okay, so there's a difference.
Let me clear something here. Before the overthrow of Gaddafi, we are fully aware this is happening, but not in this scale. We are fully aware. And 95, most of the time you hear Ghana High Commission or Nigerian Commission or Gambia High Commission going in for people who are working as domestic servants in Libya. Their passports have been confiscated, their salary has not been paid and been working. Right. We've had an instance where Gaddafi have to put plane down to fly people to other countries because of violence relating to this issue. Yeah. It's not new. It has been there for some time. But the manner is being done now, it's totally out of hand. Yeah. And because of what the lawlessness and the empire, I was shocked. Because I thought for us to go into Libya and move anyone, we need military. But I was happy to hear that Africa, Air Libya have to fly them in. So technically, there's some sense of sanity there and lawfulness there, that our agitation is leading these people to be removed. One important thing is that every life matters to us. and we want everyone as much as possible to be removed. That is number one. Whatever we have to do, the situation has happened. Gaddafi is no more there.
Yeah.
Our children are there.
Yeah.
And we know they are there now. And what we saw on CNN, well, if the Europeans are those we are going to use to remove them, we will use whatever means necessary. That is very, because if I'm there, that's what I want to be done. So if someone is there, that is what we want. When we finish that, we'll come and talk about
Okay,
that.
but Kofi, you keep saying that we're blaming the Europeans. However, you also mentioned that when Gaddafi was there, although it was happening, it wasn't at this scale.
Yes.
So then somebody needs to be held accountable. If we don't, then if we're not careful, this might happen elsewhere. I think we all need to be vigilant, okay, and know that these are things that happened since Gaddafi left. And when Gaddafi was deposed from his position, a lot of ammunition was sent into that country, and now the ammunition are in the wrong hands. And this is what, as the ammunition has got into the wrong hands, this is what we're seeing right now.
And this was not done by Africans.
This was not done by Africans.
Yes.
What's your position?
I want to make something clear. When Gaddafi was there, there were arms in so many locations. But
it was not used for what it's used.
It was not used for what it's used because there was sanity and control. But remember, Gaddafi was also relating with the Europeans. So one way or the other, they have problems. Now, we, the rest of the continent, the weapons Gaddafi has got, most of the countries don't even have quarter of it. Talk less of we being able to step in to help. We wanted to help. We succeeded in getting a ceasefire from the African Union. Remember very well, under Dr. Jinping. What we couldn't do is that we could not. We had about a week or a day ceasefire.
So are you going to blame the Europeans for the downfall of Libya?
The European. Why should I blame anyone? Gaddafi was relating with them. You remember the Lokabe bombing and so on and so forth. So they had problems between themselves. We were not involved in the problem. Were we involved? Why should we be blaming anyone?
No.
I think sometimes I admire. Sometimes I admire your passion and your enthusiasm, but I think on this subject, I disagree with you.
What is the foreign policy? Be patient with me.
Hold on.
What is the foreign policy of Libya and what is the foreign policy of the African Union? Africa, has no foreign policy.
This has got nothing to do with
it. Has
at
to.
the end of the day,
look,
at the end of the day, the Europeans carpet bombed Libya. Okay?
If you are a country and you want to be independent and do what you like.
The Europeans carpet bombed Libya. We are aware of that. Okay? Are you going to blame them for making the Libya the country it is now, or are you going to say that it is not them, it is somebody else? Let's say the facts as it is. Okay? As a result of that, we've got militias running around. We've got one half of the country being backed by a European government saying that they are the approved government. You have infighting going on. This was not happening when Gaddafi was there. Okay, so as a result of the Europeans carpet bombing Libya, we now have a situation where, the slavery situation, as you were saying, if it was there before, if it wasn't there before, whatever the case is, it's now being really, really, it's ridiculous in that country now. If you're sitting here and you are apportioning blame to everybody else and Africans, then you should be able to apportion blame to the Europeans for what they did. If you can't do that, then I don't understand what the issue is.
Okay, now let's look at let's concentrate on the victims here. Okay, Kofi, I know you said earlier on when you were talking, you're saying that if some systems were put in place where people have jobs, they wouldn't want to go, try to get into Europe. However, Ludwig also said that you cannot stop people from moving around. Okay, so now the migrants that are being brought back, and I think we need to look at this. What are they going to do? Is the government going to give them any jobs? How are they going to come back? Because most of them have probably sold everything they own to try and get into Europe.
Most of them probably don't even have anything in the first place before they left their countries. It's out of desperation. That's why most are living. I'm not saying all. And out of that desperation, they are living. They are aware of the danger. But they are ready to pay the ultimate price because they feel if they were able to make it, they will end up like my brother on air this morning. So they are looking up to those who are here. And they know most of us are also migrants, yet we have some life that you can say, oh, it's a bit sensible and meaningful. So what they are looking at is that thing that if we had created it maybe there, most will not have left. A lot will not have left. So what we are saying is that when we formed the OAU in the 60s, This problem was there, attacking this, attacking that. So we form an organization that will be like European Union, that will be concise, control each of us, so that we won't be infighting. Then we'll be able to identify the common enemy and then be able to deal with issues together. It has to do with issues of job.
Kofi, we've got the AU. The AU should be able to do that. What you're saying?
If we have got the AU,
I think just something that I think it's kind of a bit hypocritical sometimes. Okay. You just spoke about the fact that the migration has dropped down from UK because of the Brexit.
Yes.
But we're in Europe and people are still coming from European countries here.
Yes.
So this thing is not just isolated in Africa, and that's what we keep forgetting. People from down the road in France, Portugal, Bosnia are coming here to try to find work. So I think sometimes, yes, we have to deal with our own problems, but we shouldn't isolate Africa as one place that hasn't got anything. Because in the same vein, why is South Lambeth Road the biggest residence for Portuguese outside Portugal? Down the road from us, 10 minutes from us. South Lambeth Road is the biggest residence for Portuguese. Why are they not in Portugal? No one is complaining that they are not in Portugal. Everyone's saying it's fine for them to be here. When Africans try to come here, it's a big issue. Okay? So we can look at it from different aspects and different dimensions, but I guess we just have to do our homework. But we have to be mindful that it's okay for Portuguese to come live down here because they are Europeans, but when Africans are coming here, they are being called migrants, they are being put in ships, they are being sold as slaves. And what it is the agenda behind that overall?
Let me take something here. First of all, I want to correct something that a lot of us are not looking at. Number one, the reduction in the number of the migrants from Europe is associated with improvement, development in Portugal. And
you just read the story that says because of Brexit.
It's there. No. Brexit is one of the
but that's the issue. This morning we spoke about Brexit, so let's stick to that issue here.
That's what we are talking about. We didn't read everything into details. What I'm trying to say, let me talk. What we are saying here is that Romania, the economy is improving. What's the name of this country? Poland and other EU countries. So the economy of EU is picking up, and some analysts are saying these are some of the reasons why those who are supposed to be flooding in are reducing. Another area where you're talking about Portuguese, most of us don't realize is that I have worked with these people. Most of them are Brazilians, Latin Americans that are crossing. You understand, from South America to Brazil, because there's a kind of like the way we come to England. But what do you mean?
They're crossing
from where?
When they get to, be patient.
Maybe you're trying to say from Portugal to Brazil.
From Brazil to Portugal.
To Portugal. Okay.
Good. When they become citizens of Portugal, the next thing they do, they're attracted to the UK. So when you check their record, where are you born and so forth, if you have others, you see that the person was born in Brazil, but he ended up in Portugal, and from Portugal they come here. But so if you are now, be patient. If you are now looking at the population coming from Portugal, you are actually or unconsciously counting the
it is still
which is
Portuguese,
different from someone who is coming from Ghana,
Nigeria, and that's what I'm saying. The point I'm saying is that it's still the same. You know, the Europeans are still coming here. Yes. The UK has an issue with Europeans coming to Britain. Okay, so the migration issue is no different. It's just that when they just tend to focus on Africans because the plight is a bit more challenging, it's a bit more harder, and it's people have to go through Libyas where they end up as slaves. But we have to identify that migration is an issue worldwide. People will still migrate because they're going to places of better conditions. And the reason why I said Europe is because everyone is doing it. So let's not focus on just Africa being a poor state, pure country. If we create jobs,
can't we make this Africa a better place?
Well, we are trying to.
Fine. That is what we are talking about. We are not saying that people will not migrate. What we are saying is that what we have now, even Europeans are not sleeping because they feel it's not good enough. They are improving on what they have. Britain is improving on what they have. Why can't we also learn to say that, you know something, our children are desperate. The youth are struggling.
We are saying that.
And let us improve
and let me bring in this, because I think Joyce has made a fantastic comment here. She said, Mr. Kofi, the West is not exploiting Romania, Poland. That's why the economy is improving. We are blaming the West because they have exploited and still exploiting our continent.
Thank you.
Which I agree.
You agree?
Don't ask
Okay.
let us ask ourselves, what are we also doing so that this exploitation? I think we are looking at this one side. We are playing the victims here.
No, Kofi. I think sometimes you have a very strange view of things. We don't have as much muscle and power as you think
we don't have.
have.
Can't we do something to have that?
We are doing that,
we
but
don't want to do
Kofi.
ECOWAS were there when Gbagbo was removed. ECOWAS were there. What could ECOWAS possibly do?
Can't we ask ourselves what we can do to...
We're asking you. We're asking you.
ECOWAS rights advocate.
That is why I'm an advocate of ECOWAS. And
so what can you do?
We are telling you, you're actually not even interested in listening.
Let's move on. Let's move on. Just for time's sake, another story, Kofi. Zimbabwe's new president, Emmerson Mnangagwa, has named his cabinet, appointing senior military figures to high-profile positions.
Yes. I think he is doing a wonderful job. We have to understand that the transition between Mugabe and Mnangagwa is to save the party and the country. Now, let's look at it from this angle. Mnangagwa has come in now. Mugabe has been there for some time. And as a leader of a country, you are interested in what happened in the military area because they hold weapons and they can do anything. So what he's doing is that Mnangagwa is changing the guards so that he will
he's protecting himself.
He's protecting himself and he's protecting the country in the way that if
wherever he wants
the wrong people are at the right place, what do you think they can do with the weapons?
So basically he's protecting his position so that if he needs the military to do something, they can go on his behalf, just like the military did on his behalf in the beginning to get him in power. So there's no corruption there then? You don't think that's fair?
I don't think it's a head of state now, and he has been sworn in. And the head of state look at the military and he felt, look, for the security of this country, for us to be able to move on, I want Mr. A, B, and C to be in position.
It's not the same thing Mugabe did that Mugabe was heavily criticized. Hold on, and this is from the opposition. The opposition are saying that the opposition condemned the new cabinet. They're saying that it's a betrayal of the public's hopes and proof that the security forces so powerful under Mr. Mugabe remain in charge of the country.
Yes.
So don't you think there's anything wrong? Shouldn't the military be an independent body that's not part of the...
Every country, even in Ghana, in fact, I'll give you a good example of that. Even the police, the presidency is interested in what's happening there. This country is not an exception. When you have a country...
What do you mean this country is not an exception?
This country...
You think that the head of the police can just walk into number 10 and tell, Theresa May to walk out and force her to resign?
I don't think you understand what you are understanding what we are talking about. The president is the head of state.
Yes.
And is empowered by the law in any country. Donald Trump is changing them every day. So the power the president has got is to appoint people into position. Mnangagwa is doing that thing, and we have a problem with that.
Sometimes I think we just have to be brutally honest. Okay, this is wrong on all levels. Hold on. Because when the army took over, the army said they were not interested in anything that's going on. They're just there to remove the criminals around Mugabe.
Yes.
So then, how come? And under Zimbabwe's constitution, okay, the army they're not supposed to be biased, okay? It's not up to the army to go around prosecuting people.
That's correct.
Okay, now, when this happened, a lot of people were saying this is not a coup. This is not a coup for Mnangagwa to take over. And as soon as Mnangagwa took over, who does he appoint as his foreign minister? He's made... Sibosio Moyo, the general who appeared on TV.
Yeah, the young guy.
Okay, the young guy. So what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? This is right in front of everybody. Let's not beat about the bush and say that this is right, Kofi.
Let's get something straight here.
There's
nothing to get straight.
There's something we are trying to...
Kofi, I give you 30 seconds.
Please. You see, what we have here is the military acted in a way. They could have taken over the government.
They did. They did take over the government.
They were just out for the self-interest.
There will have been... That's not the most senior military officer. This is a young officer. He's a captain. The man who sits...
But he's got a mandate from them.
Patient. Now, Mnangagwa has come into office and he's looking as the rank and file and he feels that particular man can serve him better as the head of the force. Why must anyone have a problem with this?
Kofi's asking why
He's
should
a
anyone have a
commander-in-chief.
problem? He's
And
the
the commander-in-chief has appointed someone. And people have a problem with that?
All right, you're listening and watching to Talk Africa, watching us here live on GNTV, also on our Facebook page. We're streaming live on Talk Africa Facebook page. We're also live on Sky Channel 291, also live. You're listening to us on GN Radio. My name is John Sewa. We're taking another break. When we come back, we will focus on our main topic of the day, which is skin bleaching. We'll be right back.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
Majority of you only pay attention to us after years of unremittent persistence and rejections, whilst we challenge the way it has always been done. We have made courageous decisions many of you wouldn't dare dream, forgetting you can live it when you dream it. Wake up with an idea. Research the egg out of the idea. Write a massive business plan. Raise money and create business. Wave goodbye to friends and families as your life is now your business. Stick with it, even on the bad days. Following your massive expansion into a worldwide domination, retire to your favorite highland or go back to step 1 and wash, rinse and repeat.
The CEO's Chair, showing on GNTV UK.
Next time, not joke with no Nuts family. I hear me. Afira.
Foreigners are in deciding for us, what to do when it comes to our music. This is just so not cool.
Charlie, just forget them. If you're not ready to pay our artist like $30,000 or $90,000, then where are we going?
Talent get case. You go see one kid can't they stay top. They do small acrobatics here and there, or people they clap. Why this kid get talent? How?
Instead of beefing each other, Ghanaian artists can actually join hands together and promote themselves internationally.
Majority of you only pay attention to us after years of unremittent persistence and rejections, whilst we challenge the way it has always been done. We have made courageous decisions many of you wouldn't dare dream, forgetting you can live it when you dream it. Wake up with an idea. Research the egg out of the idea. Write a massive business plan. Raise money and create business. Wave goodbye to friends and families as your life is now your business. Stick with it, even on the bad days. Following your massive expansion into a worldwide domination, retire to your favorite highland or go back to step 1 and wash, rinse and repeat.
The CEO's Chair, showing on GNTV UK.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
Hello and welcome back to Talk Africa with me, John Sewa. We say goodbye to Ludwig New Jr. and also Kofi Ali. Now we turn our attention to our main topic of the day. The issue of skin bleaching, okay, we're asking, is it self-love or self-hate, or is there an advantage to bleach your skin? A recent study in the University of Cape Town suggests that 1 in 3 women in South Africa bleaches their skin. There's also an increase in men also bleaching their skin. So today we're looking at the issue of skin bleaching across the continent. And of course, I can't have the men talking about skin bleaching. I've said that men do bleach their skin as well. But so hopefully today we will be educated, and hopefully by the time we finish the show, we will get a clearer understanding as to why A lot of women tend to bleach their skin. Joining us in the studio, we have Jasmine Ejewa Asano, who is the founder and director of Rising Nation. She's here with us in the studio. Also, Yanyako is a social commentator here in the UK. Good morning to the both of you ladies.
Good morning.
Okay, so the issue of skin bleaching, well, we all come in different colors, different shades as black people across.
Definitely.
But then it gets to a point where certain people tend to realize that maybe if they were to be a bit lighter, it might help them, or a bit lighter is the way forward for them. Why would somebody in the first place want to bleach their skin? Ejewa.
I haven't heard someone call me that in ages. I don't know. I don't know, in all honesty, why you will want to bleach your skin, or why you will want to change your skin tone or your skin, I guess it's the skin shade. I don't know. I really do not know. And today, I guess I'm going to find out what we're going to discuss about, really.
All right. The World Health Organization has reported that Nigerians are the highest users of skin lightening products. Okay, so it's 77% Nigerian women use the products on a regular basis, and they're followed by Togo with 59%, and then South Africa, as I mentioned, 35%, and Mali 25%. All these countries are. We also know that Congolese use it as well.
Oh yeah,
Congolese
I think
use it as
most Africans use it, and I think people tend to bring it back to our colonial past and slavery. Even if you look at African American history with the slaves, the lighter skinned ones tend to work indoors while the darker ones will be out in the field. And I grew up in Africa, and you can definitely see that certain fairer skinned people are treated better. They're deemed more beautiful. And they have more opportunities. So if you're darker, I think you would think, let me bleach in order to
have an advantage of certain things.
But then, is anything wrong with somebody bleaching? What's wrong with it?
I don't know. For me personally, standing as a Christian as well, I personally believe that God has created you as a masterpiece, and therefore you should not be changing what God has created. In a way, for me, it's like saying, God, I don't really like what you have done, and I want to change that. I want to be my type of person. I want to live my life according to how I want to be. That's kind of how I see it. Because I'm not even going to lie, because sometimes I've been around light-skinned girls, when mainly at university or during college times, where all the attention of a female was light-skinned girl, and you was think I was definitely sometimes thinking,
what's wrong with dark-skinned girls?
What's wrong with me? Like, it turned me into someone that has insecurities and me doubting myself. And I think sometimes those are the reasons why people feel like, okay, do you know what? Let me go ahead and lighten my skin to meet that current trend that is currently on. And it is a situation where it's actually a trend. And I believe that you should not really be putting yourself across to that stereotype that's currently happening. There's trends always happening. One day is denim on denim, next time it is denim on orange, black is the new orange, or orange is the new black. It is always changing. So I think it's about you finding out who you are as an individual and sticking to that and completely being happy with that, rather than always changing the trends, because trends will always change.
But then you have people who are just saying, look, we're living in the 21st century. We've seen people getting Botox done, you have implants.
That's why I see bleaching as it's a personal choice. I think people see it as something like fashion. I think the only difference is with bleaching, you can't take it off.
Exactly.
Once it's done, it's done. But the people that bleach, even the people here, I think they do know the risks to it, but they still choose to do it. And I think we have to respect that. These people, they're not ignorant. They know exactly what they're doing. They've just decided that having lighter skin is better for them, and that's what they want to do in life. So they do it. But if you go back to Africa, I think maybe for people that are less educated, they live in a village and see that, this person that is fair-skinned is being treated better than me. So let me just go and buy this cream for the market and lighten my skin as well. Someone like that might not necessarily know the risks that these creams carry in terms of the damage they will do to their body and their skin. They don't know that. But then there are people that do know it and still do it. So it's like you said, it's your choice. It's like going for cosmetic surgery. If I want to get a boob job, if I want to get a nose job, It's my choice. When I get a nose job, I can't reverse it back. Once
Exactly.
I've slimmed my nose, I can't make it broader again. And if you've increased your boobs, you might want to take your implants out later, but your boobs are not going to go back to the way it was. So people do know this, and they still tend to do. And I think we don't look so much down on cosmetic people that do cosmetic surgery as the same as people that do bleaching. So I think there's a little bit of a double standard there, I think. But I mean, the issue goes deeper than that as well.
Okay, this is a message from Joyce. Joyce is saying, I don't have a problem with them bleaching their skin. However, the problem I have is they are bleaching their children as well. I see kids in schools being bleached.
Wow.
Okay. You can also call in if you want to share your comments, if you want to contribute on the topic we're discussing this morning. Is 0203-286-0185 or 0793-286-1328. If somebody wanted to bleach their skin, I mean, a lot of people will say the products needs to be banned. In the UK, it is banned. And in some African countries too, it is banned.
It's not banned. I think certain levels. I think creams that
have
2% of the
amount.
hydroquinone. I think that's what it's called.
I can't pronounce it to save my
I'm
life.
not sure if that's the right pronunciation, but I think creams that are above, I think it's 0.2%.
There's a certain
limit. Yes, but then you still find the creams here.
Yeah, of course. If you go to the Afro-Caribbean beauty shops that sell our hair products, as soon as you go there is so many bleaching creams for you. And I don't think the UK government, these health officials, are actually going into these shops checking if the cream's being sold there. They meet up to the regulation standards and all that stuff. So they are there as much just as they are in Africa. So it's not, the problem is not just in Africa, it's in Western countries as well. You do get these unregulated creams on the market for people to use.
When you were talking earlier and you were saying back in the day at college or university and lighter skinned girls were getting attention or whatnot. But then is it not down to you as an individual to say, do you know what, whatever it is, I'm happy with my skin or the way I look? So you don't necessarily need to fall into the trap of trying to lighten your skin.
I think that's the thing, though, mainly when you're young, you're trying to find yourself, and when you are around so many people that are light skinned and they are getting that attention, when you're trying to find yourself, it gets difficult. You get blurred and you think, okay, do you know what? Maybe I should give it a try. But then you realize there gets to a point where I was like, do you know what? No. Why am I going to try and meet someone else's standard? What is my own standard? What do I feel comfortable with? Why I started questioning myself, why am I going to do this? Why? So understanding the why behind the things that you do, I think is really, really important, because you could just be doing anything and you don't know why you're doing it. Because if I came here now and I've bleached, what's my explanation? I followed the trend. And that's how a lot of issues happen and all that kind of stuff. And I try to avoid following the trend.
Yeah. Going back to that, I think the black community, we have an issue with colorism. Okay. I think from a very young age, what we see on TV, what we see on magazines, it's always either white people or lighter skin. It's been fed into our heads that lighter is better. That's it. So I think these things, they are in men. Look, don't get me wrong. As I've gotten older, I've noticed that guys that have grown up, they're in their 20s, early 30s, I think they know that, this whole colour thing is not an issue. But teenagers in high school, there was a recent video that I watched on YouTube, and I think they went around schools and spoke to young men what you preferred. I think out of maybe the 15 boys they spoke to, all of them, light skin, yeah, I want those. None of them said dark. They're like, dark skin is butters, it's nasty. And these are young boys who are going to grow up to be men. And if these boys are going to grow up to be men who think that people of their same ethnicity are ugly, how do you think that's going to impact on the women of that ethnicity? Then they're going to go out and bleach because they're like, well, our own men don't find us attractive. So I think it's an issue that needs to be dealt with. And I don't know how that can be fixed, because the marketing industry is so strong and they do it so you don't notice that they're doing it, but it's in your head. Yeah.
You've touched on marketing. I mean, everybody's on social media now, especially on Instagram or wherever it is. As soon as you want to post a picture, you use your filters, don't you? You use your filters to make you look a bit lighter, a bit brighter.
I wouldn't say lighter. I would say enhanced.
Yes.
There's
I would say enhanced.
I think there's
enhanced makes it brighter, doesn't it?
Well, I think it makes your eyes pop a bit more and you glow. It doesn't actually change your color.
It does change your color.
No.
There's
a difference.
No, I would agree with him on that side.
It does.
Oh, wait. Let me explain myself. So there are some filters that you can put on top, and then you look like a deception, like they will call it in our youth, kind of thing. But I think for me personally, and as I can hear from you as well, the filter that you do add does not make you as different. You still look like your picture. Because one thing I don't believe in is you see me on my Instagram and you come and see me in person and you're like, oh my God, is that really you? Oh my God, I thought you was a light-skinned girl. But no, I'm a dark-skinned girl. Do you know what I mean? And I've tried to avoid, that's something that I try to avoid. I want people to perceive me as I am online, offline, like, that's just how I want them to perceive me.
So how can we change this? I think we need to get to the roots of this. How can we, because you touched on...
the issue of colorism.
Yes, and also during the times of post-independence or post-colonialism, you touched on that because back then, white was seen, the color white or lighter was seen as being beautiful.
I think being dark just needs to be out there in mainstream media a bit more. No, but it's not as prevalent as lighter.
Can I tell you something? Hold on.
White people, though.
Let me just interject. We have musicians. We have I don't even know. Maybe I won't say sports personalities, but especially musicians. Okay. You have musicians who. A lot of the youth, a lot of people look up to, and they post this image of themselves. And when we see that image, you can tell from when they started to where they are now, in terms of the color, they've gone a tiny or a shade, a bit lighter. So this is something that's being projected onto the youth.
I would disagree. So I am from the beauty pageant industry. I'm the former Miss Africa Great Britain second runner-up. And so I follow my African, dark-skinned, beautiful models and pageant queens. The most recent pageant that happened was Miss Universe, and the woman that actually placed is a third runner-up. She's second runner-up, so third place. She is from Jamaica, with an afro, massive afro,
yes, I saw that,
dark-skinned woman. And I think this is what we need more. We need more people trying to push themselves into positions of influence, into positions of the way they are, accepting the way they are, because I believe that is an insecurity within ourselves that we need to deal with. Yes, it is the whole colonialism, colorism, and all that kind of stuff, but a lot of us are unfortunately insecure. And I think in order to even tackle all that light skin, dark skin, yellow, green color issue, we need to focus on how to develop ourselves, understanding who we are. And I think she is a really prime example of a woman that is in the industry at the moment that is, advertising blackness, which should be advertised a bit more itself. And even she has encouraged me for my next beauty pageant to, keep my afro out and participate like that.
I think it's great that you mentioned that example, but like you said, it's something that needs to be more prevalent, more frequent. Like I was saying, they are there, but they're not there a lot, okay? If you go to a newsagent, a lot of beauty magazines that you buy, you have to flick through a lot to see, people that look like you. It's mostly light-skinned or white people that are in there. And I think we just need to be more visible within the media, because at the moment I don't think we're there enough to actually have an impact.
Okay.
That's
talking about being visible and being out there. There's one lady who is definitely visible and out there. Her name is Denta Amartin, who is the founder of Gooba. Good morning to you, Denta. Denta, are you there? Okay, I think we're having an issue with Denta. We'll see if we can get in touch with her again. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion. This is Talk Africa with me, John Sewa. We'll be right back.
By Pay Global.
Are you doing something illegal in there?
No. What? Your lesbian fixation? Huh? You call that a lesbian fixation? It is happening live. I am just coming from their room.
Rama, this cannot continue. We cannot continue hiding our true feelings.
Hey, why are you locking the door?
He who carries the load knows his weight.
So what do we do now?
We bang on the door till she opens it.
What the hell is going on?
We just came out of that room and what we saw there didn't even come close to 2 women.
You know, sometimes the trap doesn't catch the prey you set it for.
Why Solombi? These girls are becoming troublesome.
Are we supposed to tell our clients to wait so we go buy shampoo? We deliver to our clients irrespective of our challenges.
I shall be back. You won't get rid of me so easily.
I love social media. I am social media. So I've decided I'm going to hijack your screens for the next 60 minutes as we surf through your Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and all of it. The key is to listen, engage, and build relationships. Social media is not just any media. It means fun and connecting to your favorite personalities online from any part of the globe. And when I say fun, I mean real fun. FNN Social.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
Welcome back to Talk Africa with me, John Sewa. In the studio, we have Jasmine Ejewa Asano, founder and director of Rising Nation. Also, Yanya Kun, who's a social commentator here in the UK. If you just joined us, we're talking about the issue of skin bleaching. It's a big discussion. We'd like to hear from you. You can go onto our Facebook page, GNTV UK, or Talk Africa page. We're also live on Sky Channel 291. If you want to call into the studio, it's 0203-286-0185. What do you think of skin bleaching? I'm sure when you've been to the shops to do your weekend shopping, you might see one auntie or uncle or cousin or niece or nephew or moms or dads who have bleached their skin. Today we're trying to address the issue because there's been reports that saying that the number of people bleaching their skin has actually risen. Nigeria World Health Organization released reports saying that. Okay, in case you heard that, that was a doctor we're trying to talk to. Please forgive us. We're trying to talk to a doctor on this subject. But before we speak to the doctor, let's just hear what Ya had to say about skin bleaching. I've been saying this. Is it not a choice? If I want to bleach my skin, it's my choice. What's the big deal? Why are we making a big song and dance about it?
I don't have a problem with people bleaching their skin. If you want to bleach your skin, go ahead and do it. As long as you know that if you're going to use it for 5, 10 years, 20 years, later on down the line, you will reap what you sow, okay? You can, there's so many adverse effects to skin bleaching. You can get skin damage, kidney damage. Your skin can get thin. You can even get cancer from that, and I'm sure we've seen like the aunties and uncles who look purple. That's how bad your skin can get, and it's irreversible. You can't change that. So long as you have all this in your head and you still think you want to bleach, go ahead and bleach. The same way with white people that want to tan. They know they're going under the sunbed ain't good for you. It's going to give you skin cancer, and yet they do it. And we don't bash them like we do with women that bleach. So I don't have a problem. If you want to bleach. It's your choice.
Okay, all right. Now, we spoke to a few people on this issue. Let's hear what they had to say.
That's my opinion, Well, first of all, why bleach?
I learned even the cream they use has this chemicals called hydroquine.
I would even prefer makeup than bleaching. It gets effect. I don't believe if you bleach your skin, like you wouldn't get any effect. You get an effect on it.
There is no point bleaching. Who you are is who you must be. There's no point making yourself look fairer. It doesn't add any more beauty. When you apply it too much on the skin, it can cause skin cancer and so on and so forth. So in short, I don't think it's advisable for anyone to go into skin bleaching.
Well, it also comes as a result of your exposure. You see, some people just take
things like what you just said, tuntum brony, and they move based on that. I, for one, I wouldn't be moved if anybody calls me. I like who I am. Actually, I'm black, so I just like it when I'm black. I like my women black also.
You see, the bleaching, we have the lighter one that at least it looks nice on them, but when you do it too much, then it becomes something else. Some people even have wrinkles at the end of the day, all around their faces. Some part of the skin will be black and then some black spots on it.
Okay, that was a few soundbites of people we spoke to with regards to the issue of skin bleaching. We have Denta, finally have Denta on the phone. Denta is the founder of Guba, Denta Mountain, who's MBE. Thank you very much for talking to us this morning, Denta. How are you? Okay, I think we're still having problems with Denta's line. We'll try and get her on the better line, and we will do our best to speak to it. Now, listening to the sound bites, a lot of people were saying that, using it doesn't change who you are. Somebody also said if you use it too much, then you start to get some sort of spots in your face, and sometimes their face looks lighter, their hands looks darker, their feet looks darker. It looks messy, but then again, it's just the person's choice to do it.
Again, like that person said, I think it is an insecurity issue. If you don't deal with those root issues, yes, you can become light skinned, yes, you can become green, blue, whatever, but you have to deal with the deeper roots of the issue. Why are you bleaching? Why are you changing your color? What makes you think that lighter is better? So education of that is important, and then understanding your identity, understanding the purpose, understanding who you are, rather than changing your color, because when you change your color, you're still going to remain the same person. So when the trend ends by maybe the end of the month, you want to go and reverse back to dark skin because dark skin is the new it. No, you need to understand what is going on with you as to why you want to change your color.
What if the person has tried so much trying to get in a position, especially when it comes to work?
Or money. I was just going to say there's a few, I don't know if you've heard about this woman, Denzia.
Right.
With her whitenicious creams. They're supposed to lighten your skin. Now, she was a musician. She was, I would say, dark-skinned like us, and she bleached her skin, and she's now fairer looking. Now, this woman has made a lot of money, from these creams. There's another, I think, social media star in Nigeria who, again, went from dark to light, and it seems his fortunes changed. So if you're some poor person in Africa and you're watching this, you see these people that have had their fortune reversed because they became lighter, then you'll be more susceptible to, want to change your skin as well. Because at the end of the day, I think a lot of people, especially in Africa, they bleach because they want to be treated better. And I think it starts with also changing our attitude as well. Like education. Why do I need to be treated less just because I'm dark? This is who I am. All Africans come in shades, different shades and sizes. But within that same society, we judge ourselves harshly as well and treat each other differently. So unless we tackle those issues, I think it's always going to be there,
We were, I think recently, not too long ago, Fuse ODG was able to start a campaign for Nivea to pull down the huge billboard that was in Ghana. Mind you, this billboard had been there way before Fuse got there. Again, you touched on something, which is the way in which we treat each other. If you go to, especially Africa, the way a lighter person is perceived is unbelievable. So is it not more about... I think you touched on it. Being able to educate ourselves, educate people that be comfortable in your skin.
I agree. I fully agree. You said it all. It's all about educating one to feel comfortable in the skin that you're in and not changing based on the weather, the trend. Like I've been saying, it's not based on that. Don't change who you are based on the weather, based on what people are saying. It's about feeling comfortable and confident. And then again, how do we now go about it? What do we do?
Okay, then by changing your skin, it doesn't change who you are as a person.
Exactly.
It doesn't change who you are as a person, does it?
That's what I was going to touch on. You can bleach your skin, but I am who I am. I think people who bleach their skin, I think it's how people perceive them or treat them that they're trying to change. But as to themselves, they're not going to change, and they remain the same. And the thing with the whole bleaching, you have to understand the beauty industry, okay? I think I read somewhere that Africa's population is going to increase to 2.2 billion by 2050.
Wow. 2050, yeah.
That's a huge market that
2.5.
that the beauty industry can make money on. You've got these big Western, beauty companies that do they make these bleaching creams.
There's a supply, there's a demand for it.
There's a demand
It's a
for it.
business, though. For them, it's a business, and how to advertise it and go about
it's
it.
about making money. So, to be honest, so long as the demand is there, this issue is not going to stop. You are going to get some people that just think that being dark is not nice, and there's nothing you can say that will change that. That's just their preference, and if that's how you think, I think we should just leave them to do whatever that they want. With the whole thing with Nivea, I was a bit with that campaign. I was a bit on the fence with it because, like I said, they've been in Africa for years and years. They've been pushing these cream at us, and we've been buying it. Okay, so for us to now do a campaign, say, "Oh, Nivea, you need to stop doing this." How about you buy products that are being made for Africans that are good for the skin? Promote those ones. Stop trying to attack Nivea because at the end of the day, they're getting their money. It's not going to change anything regardless. So use your platform to promote, people and companies that are actually creating products that do benefit our skin. So
let's look at this side of it, the psychological effect of it, because once you start, it's like anything, you become addicted to it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we're not looking at it from the point of view that some people, they might want to stop, but because they're addicted to it, they cannot stop. And then across Africa, I don't think that is on the agenda of any politician. Okay, so some of these people might need help.
Don't get me wrong. I think it's Ghana, South Africa, Ivory Coast, and quite a few others. They've banned bleaching creams. They said they're going to stop the importation and the manufacturing of these creams. But really, they can't stop it, because if I was to go to Ghana right now and go to the market, there are going to be so many creams with really high levels of mercury and the I can't pronounce that name, but that is in there, and they say they pay I think they pay lip service to it and say we want to stop it, but what steps are you taking? We've got open borders. I can import whatever thing I can into the country, and the government isn't going to stop me. So it's all well and good for you to say we're taking the steps to ban the creams, but unless you do put some initiatives out there to educate people and about promoting self-love, I think we need to do it from a very young age. If that is instilled in you from a very young age, I think. I highly doubt that you grow up to think, oh, I hate myself now. If it's something that's been instilled in you from a very young age, you probably won't depart from it when you're older. So we need to start from there, from schools, teaching our kids, stop worshipping the lightness or the whiteness so much and embrace ourselves and love ourselves. And, once we take that steps from a very early age, then maybe we might not see in our generation, but the next generation that might come up, there'll be more of them that love themselves and embrace the dark skin and, not think, let's aspire to be light.
Go on.
Because I was going to say, you earlier touched on something about a parent bleaching a child.
Yeah.
But I think that parents should use their bleach to explain to the child, you know what, this was a mistake, and you should love yourself how you are, because now the earlier you start, the more skin diseases the child will have, the risk of cancer, and you're just damaging the health of a child. Think about your child. What if, God forbid, your child dies before you? What are you going to do because of the skin condition that you caused your child? And I think stuff like that, again, goes back to education. You need to educate these people that you're actually affecting your child. What if the child doesn't want to even bleach?
Yeah. This is message on Facebook from Mimi. Mimi at the Joker saying that this topic. Mimi, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this topic. Okay. I also like to hear the men's point of view. I mean, we had some bites. A few men were saying that they're not really down for women bleaching their skin. But then again, as you said, as you said, men tend to go for lighter skinned women.
That just reminded me, this beauty blogger that I follow on YouTube, I used to watch her tutorials, and I think she did a reveal where she actually showed what her skin looked like. And I'm not going to lie, I was like, I wouldn't say hey, oh my gosh, but I was a bit taken aback because this girl had the hyperpigmentation on the skin was really, really bad. And as much as men are telling us, oh, women, you should love yourself for who you are, if you look at the comments that people were making on social media about how this girl naturally looked, you wouldn't blame her for bleaching. And at the moment, I wouldn't say she's bleaching because she's got creams that are prescribed by her, I think by a dermatologist, that she's using. And if you look at how she looked like a few years ago to how she looked like now, she's not a different colour, but she has definitely evened down her skin tone. And if you say that she's bleached, well, yeah, maybe she has bleached, but she looks amazing. And for someone like her, I can imagine her feeling a bit more confident and showing her natural face.
Is there a difference between bleaching and toning? Is there a difference?
I think there's a difference because for someone like her, I don't have any problems with my skin. I like the way I look, but if my skin looked like her, I would probably consider, because I would never take out my, go out the way she was looking. And it's the fact that it's the comments, is the hypocrisy. These guys are like, oh, she's beautiful. And when she took off her makeup, it was these same people
let me give Ejewa the last say. Ejewa, go on.
I just think if you're in that industry, they believe you to have a certain perception.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be at a certain standard. So for myself, like I said, I do beauty pageants. They perceive me as, I'm not intelligent, I am not this. So you will have those comments, and it's about, again, I don't know what it is, but I believe about your inner person.
Yeah.
I really do. And it's, again, about you knowing who you are and you not getting affected by it.
All right, let me just throw a works in the spanners before we go. Let me throw a spanner in the works, I should say. Somebody might say, look, we tend to say don't bleach your skin, okay, because it's not natural. But then some women do like to wear weaves, wear wigs, wear...
Exactly. I was about to make that comparison. I have natural hair, okay? And there are days where I want to braid my hair and wear a wig. Not because I hate my hair or because I want to subscribe to a Western standard of beauty, but to me, hair is just a fashion. I can go home at the end of the day. Wait.
You can actually take it off.
Let me finish. Because I can go home and take off that wig.
May I interject?
I love my hair as it looks, but it's a style. It's a style. That's different to skin.
Thank you very much, because skin is permanent.
If you've
this can go off at home.
Yeah.
when you spoke, Ejewa, you did say it's a trend. It's fashion. Bleaching your skin. It's happening now, so people tend to follow it. It's a trend.
But that trend is permanent. Whereas with a wig or with weave or with braids,
why would you wear a wig in the first place?
I need to cover my hair. My hair.
Okay, look.
My hair is very dry.
I think we should leave this for a different day.
We do. We're gonna pause here for a minute. I'm sure we will revisit this topic at some point during the season. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Yasmin Ejewa Asano, who is the founder and director of Rising Nation. Thank you for joining us. Also, Yanyako, thank you for joining us. Now, it's Talk Africa. Coming up next, we have a special guest. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. We're taking a break. We'll be right back.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
Are you doing something illegal in there?
No. What? Your lesbian fixation? Huh? You call that a lesbian fixation? It is happening live. I am just coming from their room.
Rama, this cannot continue. We cannot continue hiding our true feelings.
Hey, why are you locking the door?
He who carries the load knows his weight. So what do we do now?
We bang on the door till she opens it.
What the hell is going on?
We just came out of that room and what we saw there didn't even come close to 2 women.
Sometimes the trap doesn't catch the prey you set it for.
Why Solombi? These girls are becoming troublesome.
Are we supposed to tell our clients to wait so we go buy shampoo? We deliver to our clients irrespective of our challenges.
I shall be back. You won't get rid of me so easily.
Beloved, God created man with the dust of the earth. God breathed the breath of life into mankind. So man became a living soul. It is therefore empirical to know and to understand that the earthly cannot survive without the heavenly. Faith Today is designed to bring men and women of God from across the world to discuss developmental issues and current affairs backed by the scriptures and the gospels. This will enable us to have a better Ghana and a better world to live in. My name is Apostle Owahin Omaria Champon. I'm going to be your regular host. Remember, the light of God will shine. Don't miss it.
News Redefined. Wondering what's going on in the life of your favorite entertainment personality? Wonder no more, because the Daily Setbit has got you covered with the latest in entertainment news, gossip, fact, rumors, and of course, some sizzling interviews.
Not just that, did you know actor Jimmy Foxx's real name is Eric Malone Bishop? I bet you didn't know. On the Did You Know segment, we bring you some mind-boggling facts you might not know about your favorite celebrity.
We don't only set the trend with our stories, we bring you trendy videos and images that have gone viral on social media. Your entertainment just got better.
Another edition of Switch HQ. That's right, my name is Ludwig Jr. and from now on you're going to see my shows coming to you straight from London exclusively. What, Roy? You're going to be seeing events from here, you're going to be seeing interviews.
Happy birthday, movies.
I think God listens to me a lot.
I'm good, thank you.
Exclusively.
Please, Lydia, first thing, keep watching Swish.
What if it is entertainment? This is the mint they added to his Swiss HQ.
Hello, my name is Dorothy, Miss Face of Ghana UK 2016. And I'm Sharon Rose.
This is Mimi. I came to blah, 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 blah. This is Ghana, man, so we're representing. Swiss HQ, we say. I'm just going to be in the crowd.
How are you already know? My name is SARKODIE, aka you know what time it is, aka Money No Be Problem, aka what else? Now stand up. You're watching Switch HQ. Woo!
Do you know where we are?
And waking up every morning like it's just another day.
We can try again. You have to fight.
I have fought.
Not walk away whilst I'm still talking to you.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
Hello and welcome back to Talk Africa with me, Jones Ewa. We have a special guest in the studio today, and he goes by the name of Jamie Lawrence, who's an ex-professional footballer, now a personal trainer, also a mentor. Also, I'm a former Ghana Black Stars fitness coach. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Jamie. How are you doing?
Not too bad, Jonah. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, good morning. Now, talking to Jamie, Jamie epitomizes a lot of things. He's somebody that you could say, Jamie, I'll let you tell the story, how you started before you got into football, life before you became the Jamie Lawrence, the household name that everybody knows.
Well, growing up, things were good with parents and all that. Growing up in Battersea, South London. But my mum and dad went back to Jamaica when I was 17. I was left in London on my own with my sister, no money, trying to do the right things, trying to work. But the money I was getting, I could not live. So I got into some serious crimes. Ended up going to prison. The first time I went to prison, I got 3 years. I got out. I was only out 3 months, then I got 4 years. But I ended up in Camp Hill which turned out to be my saviour. Where I got into football, started playing for the prison team, played against a semi-professional team called Cow Sports on the Isle of Wight, and they liked my performance so much they asked the governor if I could play for them. And I started playing for the prison team, for the semi-professional team, and from there everything snowballed and teams started to watch me. And on my release I had trials at about 3-4 clubs and then ended up signing at Sunderland, which turned out to be a saviour.
It's amazing because I don't think anybody has ever done that since you. I don't think anyone has ever done that.
I don't think it's been done before and it's never been done since.
Now, the reason why I say your life is very inspiring because usually when people get into life of crime, society turn their back on people. But for you, you used it as a tool to better yourself. And what you was good at, you used that as a motivation to push you through.
Yeah, 100%. I had to use it. When I got sentenced on my second sentence, I actually did think my life was going to revolve around crime. But you still have some good people in life where I was doing that sentence, and one of the prison officers, he had the foresight to help me and let me out. And then the manager of that football team, he gave me the belief that I was good enough to go and make it as a professional. He done everything for me, started getting teams to watch me, and he just instilled like a confidence in me that I never wanted to let him down.
And in case you just tune in, we're talking to Jamie Lawrence, who's an ex-professional footballer, now a personal trainer, also a mentor. He's also been the fitness coach for the Ghana Black Stars. Okay, now with what you've been through, your process, Jamie, a lot of it had to do with mental strength. Just touch on that for us, because you know there's a lot of some people that I went to school with ended up on the wrong side of the law, went to prison, unfortunately ended up taking their lives. And when you're in there, it's a very different world. However, you as a younger person at that time had that mental strength to be able to overcome whatever it is that you were going through.
Yeah, I've always been mentally tough and all that. When I put my mind to something, I always want to be the best. You know me, you've known me for a number of years.
Yeah.
I always want to try and better myself, no matter how much it took. But when I did come out of prison, I think the best thing I could have done was sign for Sunderland, because I was 300 miles away from all the rubbish that was going on in London. Right, I became a man myself, even though I did come back, but I could say no to certain things what was going on in the area. When I came back, I totally changed, and I knew that football was the way of saving my life.
Okay, let's talk about football. So you've gone from prison to the Premiership, and that's a book, by the way. You've written a book called From Prison to the Premiership.
Yes,
I encourage a lot of people to get that book. It's very, very interesting, very powerful book. Jamie tells us everything. Okay, we're not gonna have 30 minutes for Jamie or 15 minutes for Jamie to tell us everything, so make sure you do get the book. Let's talk about football. Is getting to Sunderland, this must be the best news ever for you at that particular time.
When I first got there, though, I was kind of homesick after about 2-3 days. I was in a hotel, but the only other hotel I'd ever been in was Her Majesty's Hotel. You know what I mean? So, I was in this hotel. I never knew what was going on, but I was homesick for about 3-4 days, and I wanted to go back to London. But I thought, you know what, I've done worse. I'm going to stick this out. This is a way of changing up my life. And then we actually played a game against Leeds on Thursday. And you know when you've played well. If you're honest with yourself, you know you've played well.
Yeah.
So the manager at the time, Terry Butcher, who played for England, he sat me down the next day on Friday, and he's gone, "You excite me, son. We're going to sign you." And that was 3 months after my release. 1 minute I'm walking out of Camp Hill prison, and then I'm signing for Sunderland Football Club, who I'd watched a year before in prison in the FA Cup final against Liverpool. And I'm now going to rub shoulders with these players. Like, the feeling was surreal.
Now you played for a few teams. You played for Sunderland, Leicester,
Doncaster,
Brentford. But there's one particular team that always sticks with you, which is Bradford. What was so special about Bradford?
Right. Listen, I've always got a soft spot for all the teams I played for. Sunderland, I would love them forever because they gave me my chance.
Yeah.
Doncaster, I spent 10 great months with a great bunch of boys, and that's where I made my name because I was playing week in, week out. I don't care. Any footballer in the world, you have to play. That's the only way you improve. Then I went to Leicester, I had great times again where we won the cup and won promotion under Martin O'Neill, who's actually the best manager I've ever played under. But then it comes to Bradford, and that's got a special place in my heart because I had 6 great years at Bradford City. Since the moment I walked through the door, the people made me feel welcome. I still go back now because the way they are with me. We won promotion to the Premier League. We stayed up final game of the season against the team I supported. We beat them 1-0, but the people out there are very, very special, and it's a special club for me. Always been my heart.
In case somebody's watching or listening to us, and they see footballers out on the field and they think it's easy, all you got to do is just turn up, you get a huge amount of money and the rest of it. But then a lot of people keep saying that. Is it easy being a footballer?
It's definitely not easy. You've got to put the graft in, and that's why I've got my stuff, what I do. They think they can be footballers. They come to me for one day, and a lot of people have never, ever come back because it is very, very tough.
What's different now during the time that you played compared to now, do you think?
I think the game's changed now. It's more of a business than it was. There's not so many characters as there was back in the day and that. And the camaraderie's gone for me in the changing room and that.
Okay. And also, I know that you were the fitness coach for Ghana. You went to 2 tournaments, the Africa Cup of Nations. When we compared African teams to the rest of the world, I mean, you've seen it them play at the tournament. What do you think needs to happen for any African team to be able to progress or make a name or even go as far as winning the World Cup?
Right. For me personally, African teams are so close to winning the World Cup or a big tournament somewhere around this world because naturally so gifted. The players what I worked under, I cannot fault them one little bit. I enjoyed all my time working with them players. It was a pleasure to work with. We got to one final, lost on penalties against Ivory Coast, and we lost against the eventual winners of the tournament, Cameroon, in the last tournament I went to. But behind the scenes, they need to be professional. The GFA, who I worked under, need to be much more professional with these players. There's always underlying issues, like money issues, where they should be paying these players, and the players at the end of the day start looking bad, and it's not their fault because they're promised these things. I don't care what job you're in, if people promise you certain things, they need to pay it on time.
So not players per se, but the administrative side that needs to be sorted.
100%. The GFA needs to sort their life out and be a professional across the board. Even little things like training grounds and training facilities and all that, they need to be sorted.
Now, watching people that you played with in the past, a lot of them, when you do see them, they all have, the pot bellies and out of shape. And what has kept you going? Because looking at you still, obviously, I've seen a lot of stuff that you've done. I've helped film a few of the stuff that you've done. But what is it that keeps you going?
I want to be better every day. Obviously, the job I do, I'm a strength and conditioning coach. And I think you've got to be able to practice what you preach. You can't be telling people that back in the day when I was a footballer, you see these big belly men telling you to go and run and do this and do that, and they couldn't do it themselves. So you lose a little bit of respect for them. So the boys who come to me, anything I'm telling them to do, I can do and more.
Okay, we're speaking to Jamie Lawrence, who's an ex-professional footballer. If you just joined us, he's a personal trainer, also a mentor. Jamie, let's go back to your football days because we're about to run out of time, but I just want to touch on something really, really briefly because we have a lot of youngsters now who want to get into the game. Yeah. And would you say youngsters these days have it easier?
Yeah, but there's a downside to that because anything easy is not worth having. You have to work for everything in life. Right? You think that it comes easy and whatever, someone else is going to come and take that job sooner or later.
So, did they have it easier or
to get into clubs? To get into clubs, they have it easier, but then they don't realise that sooner or later someone else is after the position and the clubs will drop them in a hot second.
Now, this is something people don't really touch on. After football, after the lavish lifestyle or the luxury, after football, that transition, how was it for you?
It was really, really tough at the beginning. It's like structuring your life. You know that you're training Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday's off, Thursday, Friday, you're training, gearing up for the game on Saturday, Sunday off. And all of a sudden that's gone. Forget the money. You have a meaning in life for waking up and all that, and then all of a sudden that's gone. So when I turned 35, that's when it ended abruptly, I should add, because certain people would not let me forget about my past and whatever. But then for the first year, I only knew crime, right? And I nearly went back into that, right? Probably suffered a little bit of depression because I never knew which way to turn. And then one of my best friends said to me, listen, you've come too far now, go and do something about it. So I went and done my personal training thing. Then I started my football academy in South London, where all the boys used to come, and that gave me a little bit of self-worth and that. Then I started working with disadvantaged kids in schools and that. And then I realised that I am a role model, and I knew that I was never going to get in trouble again. It's not about money, it's not about anything, it's about giving back to the community.
And this is, again, something that I think a lot of people take it lightly because that transition period, when you finish playing your playing days, it doesn't matter how much money you have. We've seen in the past reports came out that a lot of footballers do suffer from depression.
It's bad.
It's how it happens a lot. So right now, Jamie, what are you doing right now?
Well, I'm doing a lot of things at the minute. I do strength and conditioning with individual players. I've still got my football academy. I'm assistant manager at White Hawk. In the process of talking about making a film about life and that.
Okay.
And doing a second book. And I'm doing a lot of mentoring. I try and help these youngsters on the road to find a focus, find a goal, and live a better life.
Now, you were saying that some people are trying to use your past against you. What exactly happened?
On social media and all that, my name comes up regular, and people saying about, oh, that bank robber, this. Even someone said the last I heard he was in Franklin Prison. I've never been in Franklin Prison in my life. And since I walked out of that prison 24 years ago, I've never looked back. Right? I use what I've been through as a positive to help these young boys who don't think that they've got a chance in life of getting anywhere. Listen, chase your own dreams because you can turn it around.
And you've done that.
Yeah, I'm testimony to turning it around. Everybody can turn it around.
Tell us some of the people that you've trained with, you've trained in the past that have gone on to bigger and better things, because you are a personal trainer now yourself.
Yeah, well, I trained Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah.
Casey Palmer. I've trained Robin Shute.
Yeah.
Well, he's in Sweden now, and I trained him for like 3-4 years. He wasn't quite ready. He came to me as a 16-year-old boy. He's now become a man. He's probably the best one I've trained technically. You've seen him yourself at close quarters. Yeah. What a player and what a good boy. And I've trained countless players have come through me.
There's something, Jamie, about you that a lot of people do say is that not giving up attitude, which is very rare to find in general. Yeah. Would you say your past, what you went through, is what has equipped you to be able to go through whatever it is that any challenges that you face at any point in your life?
Yeah, but I think I had it from all my life because we've never had anything easy. You know, as a Jamaican family, living in Battersea, where there's not many black people, we had to fight from day dot. And so my mum and dad always instilled that you had to work hard for anything you had and never give up on anything, right? And other people try and put you down and all that. I use that as motivation, right? Because I'm never gonna give up. Because I even remember a prison officer in Wormwood Scrubs saying that I would end up doing life. And to this day, that's like a beacon in my head. That will never happen.
Okay, finally, before we run up, Jamie, there are a lot of people watching and listening who might find themselves in certain situations that you found yourselves in the past. What would you say to them briefly?
Listen, everybody makes mistakes, right? You need to dust yourself off, stick your chest out, stick your chin up, and come back again and chase your dream, because you're in control of your own destiny.
And finally, how can people find you?
Jamie Lawrence 7 on Instagram. You find me on there, and one Jamie Lawrence 7 on Twitter.
Okay. This is Talk Africa. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Jamie, for joining us. Thank you to our listeners and viewers. We'll do again, same time, same place next week. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you. Goodbye.
You. Bye.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.